Welcome, curious minds, to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're plunging into the deep ocean. Vast, mysterious, still mostly unexplored down there.
Absolutely. A realm of secrets.
Imagine, a place light just doesn't reach. Crushing pressure.
Yeah.
Things hidden for millennia. And it's right there. Our deep dive begins today with this sound, this acoustic anomaly. The bloop.
Ah, yes, the bloop. It's such a fascinating story because this perfect storm, really, scientific mystery meets this really compelling conspiracy theory.
Right.
So our mission, if you will, is to unpack what the bloop actually was, look at the theories that just, exploded around it, and maybe figure out why this one sound still grabs us.
Okay, let's really get into this then. Summer of 1997, Pacific Ocean, that's our setting.
Yeah.
NOAA, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, they had these hydrophones out there, underwater microphones, basically.
Oh, yeah, a whole network of them.
Now, these weren't originally for listening to whales or earthquakes, were they? What was their first job?
No, not at all. Their original purpose was pure Cold War stuff. The U.S. Navy set them up. Yeah, listening for Soviet submarines, tracking them across the ocean basins. Very sensitive equipment.
Okay, so post-Cold War, NOAA takes them over.
Exactly. They repurpose them. Suddenly, this military tech becomes this amazing scientific tool for monitoring, well, all sorts of things. Underwater seismic activity, volcanoes erupting on the seafloor, and, marine mammal sounds too.
And then, July 1997, these repurposed ears pick up something else entirely.
Something very unusual, an ultra-low frequency sound, but incredibly high amplitude. Very loud, very deep.
And not just loud locally. This thing traveled.
Oh, it traveled. It was picked up by sensors over 5,000 kilometers apart.
5,000 kilometers? That's like, what, New York to L.A.?
Pretty much, yeah. Or London to Baghdad. I mean, that gives you a sense of the sheer power we're talking about.
And it wasn't just a quick blip.
No, it lasted for about a minute. And the really baffling part, at least initially for the NOAA scientists, was their own description. They said it had the characteristic frequency sweep of a living creature.
A living creature.
Yeah. Unlike, a ship's propeller or an underwater explosion or even an earthquake signature they were used to, it sounded biological.
But huge.
Immense. That was the immediate puzzle. Far too powerful for any known animal. Nothing on Earth, not even the biggest blue whale, was thought capable of making a sound that loud that could travel that far.
So they pinpointed where it came from.
They did. They triangulated the origin. A very remote spot in the South Pacific. Coordinates roughly 50 degrees south, 100 degrees west.
Right.
Way off the coast of South America, west of the southern tip of Chile. Middle of nowhere, really.
And this location, there's something about it, isn't there? Something a bit spooky.
Well, yeah. That location is, let's say, interestingly close to a very specific point in fiction.
Go on.
It's remarkably close to the coordinates H.P. Lovecraft gave for the fictional sunken city of Arlee.
Cthulhu's home.
Cthulhu's home, exactly. So for some people, that's not just coincidence. That's a sign, a chilling hint.
Okay, wow. But, setting aside Cthulhu for a moment.
Yeah.
Science eventually came up with an official answer, right?
It did, though it took a few years. In 2002, NOAA put out their explanation. They concluded it was most likely a large icequake.
An icequake, like an earthquake, but with ice.
Sort of, yeah. A massive ice sheet fracturing, cracking maybe a huge iceberg calving off Antarctica. Specifically, they looked at activity around the Bransfield Strait and the Ross Ice Shelf. They found other sounds from those areas, other ice events that had a very similar acoustic signature to the bloop.
Right.
So for mainstream science, case closed, natural phenomenon.
Okay.
Understood?
Not for everyone.
Not by a long shot. For a lot of people, that explanation felt too neat, too convenient. They looked back at that initial confusion, that living creature description, the sheer impossible power.
And they thought cover up.
Exactly. They saw the icequake explanation as NOAA maybe backtracking or being pressured to hide something truly monumental, something alive.
Yeah.
Huge.
So that's our deep dive. We've got the scientific facts, the official explanation, and then this really compelling, persistent conspiracy theory. We need to unpack all of that.
Let's do it. It's a fascinating rabbit hole.
Okay, part one then. Let's drill down on the sound itself. The acoustic anomaly. What were those technical details again?
Okay, so frequency, ultra low. Below what we can typically hear, but right in the sweet spot for large marine animals like baleen whales.
Right.
Amplitude, loudness, incredibly powerful. That's the big one, really. The key thing that makes people question the biological source. Because how could any animal make a noise detected 5,000 kilometers away?
Nothing we know of.
Nothing we know of, correct. Then duration, about a minute. And those characteristics, that initial description from NOAA, characteristic frequency sweep of a living creature, that phrase really stuck.
Yeah, you can see why. It primes you to think animal.
It absolutely does. It sounds organic, not mechanical or geological in that initial assessment.
So what changed? How did science move from sounds like a creature to it's definitely ice?
Well, it wasn't overnight. For years, the bloop was genuinely listed as an unexplained mystery sound by NOAA. It fueled a lot of speculation online in documentaries.
I remember seeing things about it.
Exactly. But as acoustic monitoring technology improved, and as scientists gathered more data specifically from Antarctica, they started finding matches.
Other bloops.
Not quite identical, but sounds with very, very similar acoustic profiles. Frequency, the way the sound changed over time, the power levels, coming from known icequake events, cracking, calving icebergs.
So they had a comparison point, finally.
Precisely. By 2002, they felt confident enough to say, look, the bloop fits the profile of these massive ice events. So for the scientific community, largely it became a solved puzzle, a really impressive natural sound, but natural nonetheless.
But for the conspiracy-minded, that's where the real story starts.
That's exactly right. For them, the icequake explanation isn't the solution, it's the beginning of the cover-up.
Okay, let's dive into that. Part 2. The core conspiracy. The idea that the icequake story was basically a lie.
Yes. The central theory here is that the bloop was biological. It was the sound of a truly enormous, unknown marine creature, a leviathan, essentially, and that its existence is being actively hidden.
So what kind of creature are we talking about in these theories? Dinosaurs? Krakens?
All of the above, potentially. I mean, proponents talk about undiscovered megafauna, a cryptid, right? Something legendary proving to be real. Maybe a surviving population of prehistoric marine reptiles, plesiosaurs, mosasaurs, something like that.
Wow.
Or maybe colossal cephalopods, giant squid far bigger than we've ever documented, or even a completely unknown type of whale that evolved to just immense proportions in the deep.
And the Lovecraft connection, Ariella. How does that play in? Is it just a fun detail or more?
For serious proponents of the creature theory, it's often seen as more than just a coincidence. It's treated as, well, maybe not proof, but a suggestive hint. Like Lovecraft somehow tapped into something real, some hidden knowledge or folklore about what lies beneath.
A kind of synchronicity almost.
Sort of, yeah. But the real linchpin for the creature argument isn't Lovecraft, it's the size. That sound, traveling 5,000 kilometers.
That's a big source.
A really big source. Calculations suggest, estimates vary wildly, but we're talking potentially hundreds of feet long, far, far larger than a blue whale, which is the largest animal we know of.
Which sounds impossible based on what we know about biology in the ocean.
Based on what we know about the surface ocean, perhaps, but this leads directly into the hidden biosphere idea.
Explain that. What's the hidden biosphere?
It basically leans on the fact that, well, we haven't explored most of our own planet, over 80% of the ocean, especially the deep zones, the abyssal plain, the Hattel trenches. It's virtually unknown territory.
Right, deeper than Mount Everest is tall in some places.
Exactly. Extreme pressure, total darkness, bizarre chemistry. The argument is, who's to say what could have evolved down there? Entirely separate ecosystems could exist, harboring life forms we can't even imagine, including megafauna.
Creatures adapted to those crushing depths.
Creatures that might dwarf anything we see near the surface. It's a compelling idea, a whole hidden world beneath our feet.
And if this bloop creature exists, what's its role? Why make that sound?
Well, presumably it would be the apex predator of his deep-sea realm. Maybe an ancient lineage that survived extinctions that wiped out surface life. The sound could be anything. Communication over vast distances in the dark, echolocation on a massive scale, maybe just breathing, for all we know.
It definitely paints a picture. Transforms this weird sound into evidence of monsters in the deep.
It's a powerful narrative. A scientific puzzle becomes a potential glimpse of something truly awe-inspiring or terrifying.
Which naturally leads to the next part. If such a creature exists, why hide it? Part 3, the grand cover-up.
Right. This is central to the conspiracy. The belief that powerful groups, they're actively suppressing the truth about the bloop creature.
And who are they in this scenario?
Primarily governments and military forces. The U.S. Navy is often mentioned, given the hydrophone's origins. NOAA, obviously, because they released the official explanation. Sometimes it expands to, a shadowy global cabal.
And why would they want to hide a giant sea monster? Seems like the discovery of the millennium.
Well, the theories offer several motives. One, prevent mass panic. Imagine the public reaction to knowing something that huge is down there.
Yeah, okay. Chaos.
2, monopolize the discovery. Study it, maybe capture it, learn its secrets, possibly even weaponize it. Some theories go that far. 3, protect other secrets. Maybe secret underwater bases government, or some fringe theories say alien bases that the creature's existence might reveal. Or maybe controlling access to undiscovered resources in the deep.
And where does mainstream science fit into this alleged cover-up? Are the scientists in on it?
According to the theory, yes, in a way. Some are accused of being complicit pushing the icequake story, maybe dismissing cryptozoology to protect their funding or careers, basically towing the official line.
Or maybe they're just pressured.
That's another angle, that governments lean on them to keep quiet. Or, perhaps less conspiratorially, that scientists are just conservative, dogmatic, unwilling to accept evidence that shatters the existing paradigms of biology.
So the big picture reason for the cover-up, what does it boil down to?
Control, mostly. Control over the narrative, over reality. A discovery like this changes everything we think we know. Then there's economic stability. Think about shipping, fishing, oil exploration if there's a potential Leviathan out there.
Massive disruption.
Massive. And national security, is it a threat? Could another nation get to it first? It's all about managing the unknown, keeping the lid on something potentially world-altering. Fear of the unknown, fundamentally.
And how would they even manage such a huge secret?
The theory suggests by controlling the information. Promote the icequake explanation relentlessly, discredit anyone who pushes the creature theory, label them cranks or fringe elements, maybe subtly limit funding or access for deep-sea exploration in, let's say, sensitive areas near the bloop's origin, make it seem like there's nothing more to see here.
It's a complex web they paint.
Oh, yeah. It implies a very sophisticated, very powerful operation to keep this secret buried deep.
Okay, so if you're a proponent of this creature theory, what's your evidence? What are the points you'd bring up? Part 4.
Number 1, always, is the sheer power and range of the sound. They just keep coming back to that 5,000 kilometers. No known animal can do that. Period. It has to be something bigger, something unknown. That's the primary smoking gun.
And the biological sound characteristic.
Absolutely. That initial NOAA description, frequency sweep of a living creature, is seen as the uncensored truth. The real finding, before the official narrative was constructed, they see the icequake explanation as a later rationalization.
A convenient one, they'd say.
Exactly. The convenience of the icequake explanation is another key point. Why did it take years? Why did it come out just as public interest was peaking? It feels suspicious to them, like a quickly manufactured answer to shut down the question.
And the unexplored ocean argument.
That's huge. They argue, look, we know more about the surface of Mars than our own deep oceans, with 80% plus unexplored, especially those extreme deep zones. It's not just possible, it's probable that immense creatures exist down there. We simply haven't looked in the right places yet.
It's hard to argue with the fact that the ocean is mostly unknown.
It is. And then they bring in anecdotal evidence.
Like sailor stories, sea serpents.
Pretty much. Historical accounts, even modern reports, though often unverified, of massive unidentified marine animals, giant squids, sea serpents. The bloop is seen as potential acoustic evidence that corroborates these visual sightings. It all fits together in their view.
And the Cthulhu thing again?
Yeah, it keeps popping up. For some, it's more than just a fun fact. It hints that maybe Lovecraft wasn't just making things up, that he tapped into some genuine hidden knowledge or folklore passed down through secret societies, maybe. And finally, they might point to a general pattern of government secrecy around scientific discoveries, especially biological ones or underwater activities. They'd say, of course they'd classify this. It fits their MO. Any discovery of a new super predator would be top secret for national security reasons alone.
So you gather all that together. The sound, the location, the mystery, the convenient explanation. You can see how the theory takes shape.
You absolutely can. It weaves together scientific anomaly, folklore, and a distrust of authority into a really compelling narrative.
All right. We've heard the case for the creature and the cover-up. Now let's shift back. Part 5. Debunking in the mainstream scientific view. Why is science so confident the bloop wasn't a monster?
Right, so from the perspective of mainstream oceanography and acoustics, the bloop mystery is largely considered solved. The conclusion remains, large icequake.
And this isn't just a guess, they have solid reasons.
Very solid. The key was finding those other confirmed icequake sounds from Antarctica later on. When they compared the acoustic signatures, the specific frequencies, how the sound changed, the duration, they were a near-perfect match for the bloop.
So it wasn't unique after all.
The bloop was perhaps exceptionally powerful, maybe due to the size or specific way the ice fractured, but its acoustic characteristics were not unique. They fit the known profile of these massive cryogenic events.
And the location, does that fit the icequake theory?
Yes, perfectly. The triangulated origin point, 50 degrees CES, 100 degrees WEF, is consistent with the potential paths of drifting massive icebergs calving off Antarctica, and it's in a region where sounds generated near Antarctica, particularly the Bransfield Strait or Ross Sea, could potentially travel that far.
Okay, but the power. Could ice cracking really make a sound detected 5,000 kilometers away? That still seems incredible.
It does, but yes, we're talking about immense forces, ice sheets miles thick, covering vast areas, fracturing huge masses of ice scraping against each other or the seabed. These events release enormous amounts of acoustic energy, specifically at the low frequencies that travel farthest in water. It absolutely can generate sounds loud enough to be detected across ocean basins, far louder than any animal.
And the biological frequency sweep that NOAA first mentioned, how do they explain that now?
That initial description is now understood as, well, an initial interpretation based on limited data at the time. The complex way ice fractures and resonates can apparently create sound patterns, including frequency shifts, that might superficially resemble biological sounds. But it doesn't mean it was biological. It was just one possible interpretation before more data came in. Physics can be complex.
Makes sense. And what about the lack of other evidence? If there's a giant creature, where is it?
That's a huge point for the scientific view. Decades of deep-sea exploration have happened since 1997. We have better sonar, ROVs, submersibles, and absolutely zero evidence of any creature remotely large enough to make the bloop sound has ever been found. No carcasses, no sonar contacts, nothing.
And ecologically, could such a creature even survive down there?
It's highly questionable. The deep ocean is mostly a food desert. The energy requirements to sustain a population of creatures hundreds of feet long would be astronomical. What would they eat? It poses significant ecological challenges that the creature theory doesn't really address.
Plus, if it was a population, wouldn't we have heard more bloops or similar sounds?
Exactly. If it was a living species, you'd expect repeated vocalizations. Maybe not identical, but similar, powerful, low-frequency sounds from that region or others. But the bloop, with its specific characteristics and intensity, seems to have been a one-off event, which aligns much better with a large, singular geological event like an icequake than with a living population.
It's the convenience of the icequake explanation.
Yeah.
Science would just call that science.
Pretty much. Science often starts with mystery and confusion. Then, as more data is gathered and analyzed over time, explanations emerge and get refined. It's the normal process. The delay wasn't suspicious, it was just the time needed to collect and understand the relevant acoustic data from Antarctic ice events.
And the Cthulhu connection is
a fun coincidence. A testament to Lovecraft's evocative writing, maybe, but not scientific data, it's fiction.
And finally, is there any actual proof of a cover-up? Leaked documents, whistleblowers?
None whatsoever. No credible evidence has ever emerged to suggest NOAA, the Navy, or anyone else suppressed data or actively misled the public about the bloop. The analysis, the data comparisons with icequakes, it's all been publicly available. It holds up to scientific scrutiny.
Okay, so the scientific case seems pretty robust, yet the conspiracy persists. Part 6. Why? Why does the bloop creature idea refuse to die?
It's a great question, and I think it taps into something deep in us. Firstly, the deep ocean itself. It's Earth's last great unknown frontier. It's dark, it's alien, it's inherently mysterious, and a bit terrifying. It's the perfect place to imagine monsters lurking.
The perfect setting for a mystery.
Totally. And then there's just the sheer what if. The idea of a colossal, undiscovered creature is just incredibly cool and compelling, isn't it? It speaks to that childhood fascination with dinosaurs, sea monsters, cryptids. The bloop's power makes the what if feel almost plausible.
And maybe we don't always trust the official story.
That's definitely a factor. There's a growing distrust of official narratives in general. When a mundane explanation like an icequake replaces a potentially spectacular one like a monster, some people are automatically suspicious. It feels like a letdown, or worse, a cover-up.
The hidden truth idea.
Yeah, the trope that they're hiding big secrets from us. Whether it's aliens or sea monsters, the idea that there are profound truths being kept under wraps is very appealing to many.
And the Cthulhu thing, even if just coincidence, adds that extra spice.
It absolutely does. It adds that layer of cosmic horror, that hint of something truly ancient and perhaps malevolent. It just makes the story stickier, more intriguing.
And maybe the initial mystery was just too strong.
I think so. That initial period of genuine scientific bafflement, the sounds like a creature description, it created this void, this mystery vacuum. And the creature hypothesis filled it so perfectly, so dramatically, that for some, that became the reality, and the later explanation felt like an unwelcome intrusion.
It's hard to let go of a good monster story.
It really is. Ultimately, it might just tap into a very primal human fear, or maybe fascination with the unseen, the thought that something unimaginably huge and powerful could be moving just beyond our perception in the crushing dark. That's a powerful thought.
Okay, so summing up, the bloop. On one hand, a scientifically explained, albeit incredibly powerful, natural phenomenon, the sound of Antarctic ice cracking.
Right, a testament to the immense geological forces at play on our planet, captured by chance by sensitive hydrophones.
And on the other hand, an enduring, captivating conspiracy theory. A hidden leviathan, its existence meticulously concealed by powerful forces.
Forces motivated by fear, control, or the desire to monopolize knowledge, depending on which version of the theory you hear.
And the reason it resonates, it seems, is that deep-seated love for mystery, the allures of the unknown deep, our fascination with giant creatures, and maybe that little bit of skepticism about the official version of events.
Exactly, it hits all those notes.
So as you, our listener, gaze out at the ocean, or just think about those vast, dark depths, consider the bloop. Was it just ice groaning at the bottom of the world, a natural echo from the poles?
Or was it something more? A fleeting whisper from a hidden biosphere, a genuine leviathan veiled in secrecy, lurking in the abyssal darkness. The official science says no, but that what if? Well, that what if continues to echo, doesn't it? Down in the depths of our imagination.